Hello, my name is John Bannon. I'm an attorney and philosopher. Today I want to do a video explaining the philosophy of superdeterminism on the necessary definer. Now, we live in a predetermined static block universe without cause and effect or probabilistic causation in physics. For proof of this, you can read Swedish theoretical physicist Dr. Johan Hansson's proof published in the peer reviewed journal Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, pages 216 to 218 in June of 2020. So we live in this static block universe without cause and effect in physics, which means nothing in the universe moves, nothing changes, everything is predetermined, including your past, present, and future. In fact, your entire life from birth to death still exists in the static block universe and is a permanent feature of the universe. So think of this static block universe, these three dimensions of space and one dimension of time, as sort of like a concrete block in which all the events that ever occur through the history of the universe are set in concrete and you can't change them and they're always there. And our experience of consciousness is really just an illusion as our brains change in their appearance through static hyperplanes of space-time through the static dimension of time. So think of this static block, which is what the universe is. It's not actually a block, it has a different shape, but you can think of it that way. The block aspect is the fourth static dimension of time, which is a hidden dimension. You can't see it, but due to special relativity, there is excellent scientific reason to believe that it is real, mostly due to the relativity of simultaneity, which is what Dr. Hanson bases his proof on. So, okay, so think, all right, this universe is a static block universe, three dimensions of space, one dimension of time. Now, in our universe, it's true that uh, one physical reality exists with another physical reality, and a third physical reality does not exist. In other words, a possible reality does not exist. So, this situation is defined by the static block itself. And you can understand this through a couple of simple logical statements. The first is that if A coexists with B, then B coexists with A. Now that's pretty obvious. So essentially, if there's one physical reality in our universe, it could be anything. It could be a can of soda, and there's another physical reality in our universe. Again, it could be anything. Let's say a pack of cards. Because both these things exist in our universe, then they coexist with one another. So that's pretty obviously true. A second logical statement is that if these two existing realities, A and B, are logically rigidly linked, then it's also true that if A does not coexist with C, let's say C is, I don't know, a pink elephant, a hypothetical pink elephant, then B also does not coexist with C, this pink elephant. So that truth, that logical truth, depends on the rigid linking of A and B. That is, that these two are logically inseparable. So, what do we have? We have a principle of inclusion, a logical principle of inclusion, and a logical principle of exclusion. And the exclusion requires a rigid linking of A and B. Well, that's exactly what a static block universe is. It's a rigid linking. It couldn't be any more rigid because it is uh, permanent. You can't move anything in it because there's no cause and effect in physics. Everything is set in stone within it. That is the ultimate rigid linking. So, what does that tell us? It's telling us that our universe is defined. It's defined to include what is in it, A and B, and it is rigidly linked to exclude what isn't in it, C. So the very fact that our universe is a static block universe and doesn't have cause and effect or probabilistic causation in physics is a dead giveaway that our universe is defined. It's a defined entity. Now, that's a big deal because when you have something that's defined, you need a definer, something to define it. Because the universe can't define itself because it would have to exist already in order to define itself, which is incoherent nonsense. It can't exist prior to its own existence in order to define itself, which means you have to have a definer of the universe that exists logically prior to the existence of the universe, outside of the universe, because the universe can't define itself, especially without cause and effect in physics. Well, this um, definer, this necessary definer, must also be supremely intelligent, because in order to define our universe, to exclude all other possibilities, it must know of all those infinite possibilities in order to exclude them. So it would have to have omniscience or knowledge about all logical possibilities for physical reality. So the very fact that we live in a static block universe infers that our universe is defined. And because it's defined, that means there must be a supremely intelligent definer, aka God. So the fact that we live in a deterministic universe allows one to reasonably infer the existence of God. All right. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll give you a second to read the board. Okay. Take care, everyone.